What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Smartphone World. Today I am doing something pretty much by popular request because everybody out there is interested to hear about it. This is going to be Apple versus Android. Basically, it's going to be iOS 7, which has not even come out yet, but I'm giving Apple the opportunity to compare their new operating system that they bragged about this week to just simple Jelly Bean. Android Jelly Bean 4.2. I'm not going up to key lime pie or anything, just comparing the two right at the state that they are in right now. Well, except for the fact that iOS 7 hasn't come out and we will not see until September, maybe even October, depending on when they will release the new iPhone 5S. So let's start off with the lock screen. How different are the lock screens now that iOS 7 has changed up its front lock screen that it's had for since 2007, guys? I mean, seriously, 6 years, same exact lock screen. They finally changed it up. How'd they change it up? Well, they pretty much wanted to say we wanted to look like Samsung. And the clock at the top of the lock screen and a quick launch camera app at the bottom right hand corner really does look like the Samsung TouchWiz lock screen that we all love and enjoy on the Galaxy S4. So let's move past that. Let's talk about that quick launch camera app that they have down there. Thank you, Apple, for giving us that camera app at the bottom to quick launch into the camera. Well, Android for a while now, I mean not just in Jelly Bean, for a while now has had quick launch apps right on the lock screen. This is nothing new in the smartphone world. It is just new for Apple. So congratulations, Apple, for bringing the camera. It's just you still can add that one part in where you can put any other application to quick launch like Android has. Let's talk about other things about that lock screen. For instance, you can put on Android, you can put weather, stocks, you can have a photo gallery scrolling through. You can do so many different things with the lock screen. So there's a little bit of customization that you can get with Android that you cannot get with iOS 7. And now with iOS 7 you can actually get to the control, the control bar, you know, what is considered our notification area on Android. Well, now they have that on Apple, finally. Yay! That's great. You're coming up into the times finally for something that Android's had for years now. Congratulations, Apple. You always said how everybody's copying you. What do you call what you're doing right now? I just wanted to know. Let's talk about the home screen now, because that's the first thing you get to see after you swipe through and get to your home screen. Now with iOS 7, you still have to swipe to the right. There's not that bar there anymore, but you still have to swipe to the right. Android, you can swipe any direction you want and it'll open it up. So everybody with Apple, make sure you're used to going to the right. Home screen. Apple, iOS 7, I mean, you could pack in a bunch, guys, of applications. 4 more applications on that home screen than you can with Android. Even though it is packed in on that small 4-inch display, Apple decided in their infinite wisdom, let's see how much we can cram into a small display. With Android, we can add 20. Well, not 20, you can add 16. It's 20 with, if you don't have, see, on my phone I have a nice little widget at the top of my home screen that takes out a whole row of applications, and then I have another 3 rows of applications that I can go with. Yeah, a widget, that's right, it's a clock widget. Not only does it tell me what time it is, it tells me the date, what my alarm is for the next day or that day, what the weather is, and if I tap it, I can set my alarms, I can check out different weather screens. There's so many different things that I can do with just that one widget. I'm not even talking about how I can add Pandora widgets, YouTube widgets, photo app widgets. I mean, there's so many different widgets that I can add, it's ridiculous for me to even try to say it. How many widgets can you add with iOS 7? You can't. That's basically it, guys. You just have a screen full of tiles. Applications. I hope you don't want anything that can give you any real up-to-date information like social media widgets, which keeps you up to date right on your screen. Can't really do that with iOS 7. As a matter of fact, can't do that at all. Let's talk about navigation and maps. Well, Google has had that locked down from the beginning, and they still do. Even to this day, I still hear complaints about Apple Maps, even though it has come a long way since its release in September. Believe me, guys, it definitely has improved, just not enough to compare to, you know, Google Maps and Google Navigation or anything like that. I'm just sorry to say. And please, if you have anything to say against anything that I have to say, please make sure that you give me facts in the comments and not just, you know, insulting me or saying something stupid. Please give me some precise facts that actually contradict anything that I say. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about your contact list inside of Android. Well, inside of Android, you do have a contact list, but next to each contact, there's a picture. It could be a picture that you chose. It could be from Google Plus, from Facebook. It could be from a bunch of different places that go there, but it will show you a picture of the person. Because I have come across the situation where I do have more than one person with the same exact name, believe it or not, and having that picture next to it really does come through. You can't really do that with Apple. Apple is just as your contact list. That's it, guys. Sorry. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Now let's talk about that keyboard. On texting, I mean, everybody's using keyboards now. I prefer to use voice to text, but I do find myself using the keyboard a lot when I can't just, you know, simply say what I wanted to type. Now the keyboard for Apple is very good. I mean, people love it. It is terrific. It is very responsive. It has excellent features like it types whatever you hit. That's terrific. Now, on the other hand, with Android, you could type in different formats. You can have swipe, or you can do different ways to type. But the great thing about Android that I love is that it has that little smiley face button. When you press it, you can have a wide variety of different smiley faces, angry faces, happy, crying, whatever, that you can add into your texting without having to try to do it. Apple does not have that key. I just find that just a little bit more functionality for everybody in this day and age, because I'm sorry, in a lot of texting people use that a lot. You can argue with me all you want. I will say that Apple does have a great keyboard. It's just packed in on a small screen and it's hard to use with two thumbs. With Android, it has a bigger display. I mean, we have displays reaching over 5 inches, and it's much easier to use with two hands. No, I don't know anybody out there who just specifically wants to type with just one thumb. It just does not make sense. Do you use one hand to type on a keyboard for your computer? I don't think so. Now, finally, I want to get to is the camera. Well, not finally. Camera has a lot of things to do with. A lot of other things. And mainly, it has to do with the display. I'm sorry to say, your display does make a difference on a camera. No one wants to see a small 4-inch display, and especially with iOS7 with their little square picture thing that they got going on now, it takes a lot out of it. Not only do you have a 4-inch display, they take a lot out on the sides, and now you have even less to look at. With Android, on the other hand, we have a huge variety of large screen displays, high definition, true HD 1080 displays. Not what you get in an iPhone 5 or lower. Now, also remember that the iOS7 will only be going into certain iPhones from iPhone 4 and up, but you will not be getting all the features. Like, for instance, now iPhone 4 will be able to get the panoramic shot that Androids have been having since 2008. Yes, Android has had panoramic shots since 2008, and this is one of the new features in iOS 7 that they're raving about, that their older phones will be able to do now. Not all their older phones, going back to iPhone 4s. Now, some of the other camera features that I do like to brag about that are going to be running with, you know, that run on Jelly Bean against what's going to be coming out on iOS 7. Well, we don't really know if the camera is being upgraded to 12, 13, maybe even 10 on iPhone. It is being upgraded. Now on Android, we've had 12, 13 megapixels for a long time now, and that hands down adds to the quality of your pictures in your operating system. So Jelly Bean having the capability of having such a high megapixel picture to actually be able to edit inside your own smartphone, for the longest time, Apple finally has that feature inside their smartphones. That's wonderful. Now let's also talk about display size. I know the operating system doesn't have anything to do with display, but Apple in their announcement of iOS 7 were saying on how great playing games and videos is going to be. Yes, on a 4-inch display. That's it. And for all of you people out there that say that Apple has so many more games than Android, that's a straight out lie. They're not better, they don't have more, it is a lie. Android also has the PlayStation market. Yes, it doesn't work on all smartphones, but it's still there for Android. And even the the Sony PlayStation phone, the Sony Xperia Play, that one, come on, how many PlayStation games can you have? So in essence, that phone with a small display can play games way better than an iPhone 5. So please, let's stay away from the whole gaming comparison with Apple and Android because it is non-existent, guys. I'm sorry to say. That's all that I have to say about this whole comparing Apple to Android, and I hope you guys enjoyed it because I have told you just straight up facts today. This is not fabricated information. I told you everything that there is to compare between iOS 7 and Jelly Bean. Now also remember that when when iOS 7 does finally debut, we will also have Key Lime Pie. Key Lime Pie is much better than Jelly Bean, and I'll be talking about that in a future episode. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be coming out with another episode in a couple of days. Please visit my Facebook fan page, Google+, and www.thatsmartphoneshow.com for articles. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.